Now I do a pop. Yeah. But I'm in
It's the only way we get the records. Unfortunately, will not. Hopefully better than
Excuse me. Council's in an executive session right now, so when they adjourn that, they'll be out to start the meeting. Okay?
I left it on the door. Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. I'll put it underneath. Okay, thank you. I don't know. Was Bill here? Yeah, Bill. Oh, no.
Just like I was in high school.
6 o'clock, the stated session of the City Council will start. Please rise for the invocation, followed by the pledge of the flag. Bless this meeting today and all those who are present, as well as the lives of every one of our citizens. As the events of our city continue to unfold, give us the clarity and peace so that we may, as elected officials, make good decisions for the future and the betterment of our residents. Tonight, we also take time to remember Mr. Joseph Peak, a former police officer who passed away yesterday. Watch over his wife, Ann, also a city employee for many decades. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Brown? Here. Mr. Ettinger?
Here.
Mr. Milan?
Here.
Mr. O'Connell?
Here.
Dr. Ruggles? Mrs. Volcano?
Here.
Mayor Panto?
Present. Approval of the agenda.
On?
Second. Move to approve. I'd like to just amend it to do 2 awards. Mr. Lance Wheeler, who's not here at the moment, if he's here at the time we do that. And then also another presentation to the Friends of Easton, Pennsylvania, which would be down under 7A.
I'd like to remove Bill 36 from the agenda, please.
Bill 36.
I would like to amend as
Okay.
well, Bill,
Okay.
by adding Bill 37, which is the lease agreement with Mohawk Contracting and Development.
That would be under
New business.
new business.
Business.
Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, we'll do roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles? Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye. At this time, I
Excuse
don't.
me, sir.
Go
We
ahead.
have to do on
full
the
agenda.
amended
Go ahead.
agenda. Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles? Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have a award for Mr. Wheeler. If he comes in after we present the next one, we'll give it to him. He did receive the Gretchen Renshaw Award for community service at the Peace Candle Lighting, and he was out of town that night. So we'll hold off on that. But right now I have a proclamation that I'd like to present. It states, whereas the Friends of Easton, PA is a nonprofit community association comprised of Easton entrepreneurs, customers, residents, and community activists whose mission is to help make Easton safe, clean, and walkable ultimately making it a brighter and more vibrant for residents and visitors. And whereas the Friends of Easton, PA is taking that mission to heart with their Bright Lights, Vibrant Easton campaign, and whereas the group garnered the support of residents, local businesses, and visitors to make Easton a brighter place for everyone. And whereas the Friends of Easton, PA is a group of passionate citizens who appreciate Easton's progress and believe strongly in its future. And whereas their first community project, the lighting of 26 trees in Center Square, has been received with huge success by all from near and far, adding to the beauty of our historic center. Now therefore I, Salvatore J. Panto Jr., Mayor of the City of Easton, do hereby extend sincere appreciation to the Friends of the Easton, Pennsylvania, for all they do for our city, and urge our residents and business to assist them in their future endeavors benefiting all of our residents. Signed this December 11th, 2019. I'd like to say that many of them are here and a lot of their board members are here. I continue to try to explain that this was a community-driven, bottoms-up type effort, that it was not a city effort. And the Center Square is just absolutely beautiful. I get people who, last night I had someone from Bethlehem tell me we're more beautiful than the Christmas City and that we look better than the Christmas City. That comes from a very well-known person in Bethlehem who's very active. But we're not, it's not a competition, and I don't mean it to say it that way, but just about how beautiful the Center Square lights are and the fact that they raised $26,000 just for that project, not counting all the other money they donate to other charities throughout the city. So I really want to appreciate it, and I'll open up the microphones to anyone else on City Council who would like to say anything. I'll start with Sandra.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say every time I come downtown, I just ride around the circle. I just love it. It's beautiful.
After
And
three
all I
times,
get
we
is
charge a toll.
comments from everyone. My niece was in from Cincinnati, and she was so impressed. So I thank you so much for all that you do, because you are a heartbeat of the city. Thank you.
I being at the light candle, when them lights went on, it was amazing. It was, if you're used to what you've seen before and you've seen what these lights did, it was amazing. I was talking to my wife, I said, boy, that's stunning. It really is. I mean, it's picture worthy every time. So, like everybody else, I kind of canter around there real slow. And I appreciate all that you do. And thank you for embellishing yourself in the city of Easton.
I just want to give you a little feedback.
Excuse me, I think your microphone's not on, sir.
Better?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Just give you a little feedback. Last weekend, the Lafayette had football recruits in, and these are parents and recruits from all over the country, and they were down here for dinner and drove through the circle going back up, and I had several of them mention to me how beautiful the circle was, and unprompted. I mean, just it was, and I think it's a testament to these are people from all over the country, that are coming in here, seeing this, and going back and saying, wow, what a great place that was. So it's a much broader impact than you may want to imagine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, when I drive downtown, it's absolutely breathtaking. So thank you so much for all you guys do for the city, and please keep it going. Thanks so much.
More of the same. The lights are really beautiful. I've heard a number of people just saying how fabulous everything looks. And Bethlehem might be the Christmas city, but I think Easton ought to become the volunteer city. You guys are doing a great job.
That's true. We are very fortunate volunteers. Jim, Mr. Councilman Eddinger?
I would agree with all of that and just say thank you. I really don't have anything to add to that, but keep up the good work. We really appreciate it.
So, the last thing I'll say is that these are really a group of community activists who impact our city in an extremely positive way, and that's just,
There it is.
as the mayor and as a council member, the only thing I could tell you is that when Mr. O'Connell says that we are the volunteer city, there's no doubt about that. I mean, we would not be half the city we are without the volunteers. In every capacity, we have people who are constantly volunteering for the betterment of our community, for the betterment of our residents. This Sunday, we have I'll just tell you a little thing. Stoke had a Thanksgiving Day dinner for 300 people on Thanksgiving Day, where they not only fed them with a great warm meal, full meal, but also gave the kids clothing and coats and hats and scarves and toiletries. And when I was down there, my wife and I dropped off our stuff on Wednesday night, and Jose, the manager, was telling us that Abe Lopez, the chef, his brother had just passed away that day. And they put out a plea for help. They had to feed 300 people the next day. And all the restaurants downtown came to their aid with offering cooks and chefs to come in and actually help them cook the food, while all the volunteers from the community helped us serve the people. Many of us can serve the people, we can't cook the food. So that type of thing really warms my heart when I hear things like that. And this Sunday is the Project Hope Dinner, which is over 700 people will be fed at Our Lady of Lebanon by Dr. Stanley Walker and Judy Walker, who put together another group of volunteers, many from Easton Hospital, who will not only raise the money for the food, but also everyone there will get coats, scarves, hats. The kids will get a gift from Santa, and there's a whole array of toiletries and food and clothing. Every family gets a shopping bag of food to take home to make when they get home. So those are the types of things, and it just doesn't happen at the holiday season. It happens all year round in this city. So to the Friends of Easton, if you can have someone come up and accept this proclamation, and if you'd like the microphone, you just have to give your name and addresses. Diane, are you accepting that?
Is that okay? I'd just like my board to stand up just so they can.
Excuse me, your name?
I'll give you my name. Thank you. My name is Diane Haviland. I live at 44 Center Square in Easton, and proud resident. And I whisper every once in a while that I did grow up in Phillipsburg, but don't tell anybody that.
We love that those people come over.
So I'll make it brief.
My husband did too, and he beat us when he was on the football team.
Yeah.
So,
We'll forgive him. We'll forgive him. Thank you so much. I think, just so we know, we did this with help from the mayor and help from Public Works. We will continue this Bright Lights Vibrant Easton. We are going to do South Sigray Street, working with Public Works. We plan on going into the communities, trying to create unique lighting solutions in dark areas. So we have just begun. We're Friends of Easton. Our biggest fundraiser is April the 4th. It's a masquerade ball. So if you attend and if you want to donate, just know that anything you do helps us light this city up. So we want to thank you, the mayor, and thank you, City Council, for everything you do. And we thank you for this recognition.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else like to say anything on this subject? We're going to get into public comment in a few minutes. Okay, at this time, I do see Mr. Wheeler is here. As I said, Lance is the recipient of the Gretchen Renshaw Community Service Award. Gretchen was my administrative assistant when she passed away in January of 1987. And before that, she was Mayor Mittman's administrative assistant, and she was the executive secretary to Mayor Schultz when he was in office from 76 to 80, and Phil was in from 80 to 84. Gretchen was, as Bill and I know, being very involved in the Eastern area JCs and working on many, many community projects, whether it was Halloween parades, bike races, or whatever, golf tournaments for the mentally retarded. She was always a huge help. Community Spirit Day up at Hackett Park. She was a huge help for all of our events, and we named this after her back in the, I think it was 1989. We started this, and many people have gotten this award. But Lance is getting the award this year because of all the neighborhoods, the one that we have the hardest time getting civic engagement in is the West Ward, and Lance does a great job of doing that. I've been at many of his events with the West Ward Wise, and he always has a crowd. His tailgating Halloween party at Vanderveer's Playground was so well attended. I've gone to every Halloween party the city offered, and his had 5 and 6 times as many as other people. And he raised a lot of money to buy a lot of food and candy for these kids. And it just, again, warms my heart to see these volunteers who are making a positive impact on our kids. I've always had this comment when I was a teacher. The neighborhood you grow up in should not determine what you become.
Amen.
And that is so important. And you know, as a product of public housing myself, till I was 10 years old, many times we stereotype people. And there's a lot of young people in the room today from the high school. And remember that, because it's really important that we don't stigmatize or stereotype people just because of where they may live. And Lance is doing a great job. And so, Lance, I want to present you with your award and offer some comments. And I'm going to tell you, as the individual who's the opportunity to select that, I always ask my staff for suggestions. It is becoming so hard to do that award every year. Last year, I gave it away to somebody from Southside, Westward, and College Hill. But it's just becoming harder and harder because there's so many volunteers who are active in our community. Sandy, would you like to say something about Lance?
Thank you, Lance, for all that you do. You're like an unsung hero in some of the other neighborhoods because they don't know what you're actually reaching out to do up there. I know of some of the things, I don't know of all of them, and I don't attend many of them. But I just want you to know that we do appreciate everything that you do. So continue to be able to do what you can. If you need help, just be happy to call.
Thank you. I can go on and speak about Lance from childhood to adulthood. I mean, our paths are pretty parallel. I believe Lance's aunt was your aunt, was my godmother. Yeah. And so we wasn't still very early on that the giving back is better than receiving. So Lance has always been one to always give back as a coach, as a mentor, as a person that loves his community. So I congratulate you personally on your award, and I know there's many more things coming ahead for you. Thank you.
I also would like to say congratulations. It's multiple things that you do within the community is just very impressive, and just say thank you for all of that. Thank you.
Congratulations on your award. Thanks so much for all you do for the community, and keep calling me up.
Thanks.
I've been fortunate enough to assist Lance on a number of his the events that he's put together in the West Ward. Sandy, you're right. Lance, you really are an unsung hero. I know a number of people don't know just how hard you work on behalf of the West Ward, and I just want to thank you for being such a great activist and being really the face of the West Ward. And you do a great job, and we're really very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I would echo those same sentiments. I know how hard you work to bring people together, and I want you to know how much we appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm humbled, but I want to say, like the mayor.
Excuse me, Lance, you have to give your name and address, please.
Lance Wheeler, 143 South 9th Street.
Thank you.
I know what the mayor has said about it's not where you come from. 1986, I think Sal was the mayor, and we had the old city hall on College Hill on Ferry Street. I was a senior in high school, didn't know where I wanted to go. Got accepted to a simple junior college that cost a lot of money. Went there, got enrolled. They said, well, we need a reference. I'm like, wow, I don't know how to get a reference. I'm this kid from Easton going outside of Easton, don't know what I want to do. So I'm like, man, who can I talk to? Well, Kenny was my karate teacher back then. Sandy's husband.
Don't tell my secrets.
Sandy's husband, Pat, I grew up at the community center. He used to call me Earsy.
That's right.
At 8 years old. But the mayor was my history teacher. I never forgot that. And I remember the day I walked into City Hall, and Ann Peak was at the counter. I said, Ian, I'd like to talk to the mayor. He's like, well, hold on, let me get him. And I went in, I said, I need help. He said, what do you need? I said, well, I need a letter of reference. He goes, for what? I said, to get enrolled to a college. He goes, where are you going? I said, Keystone Junior College. Now, there's this little kid, 800 block of Spruce. Grandparents raised me. Mother worked 3 to 11 every day. What saved me was listening to the adults and just believing in myself. Not that I need to leave Easton to be someone, but what's in my community is what makes me strive every day. And I tell people, it's not where you come from, it's where you're at. You know, we get people that come outside of Easton. We all know this. The West Ward, we get beat down all the time. But we don't, because there's people in the West Ward that don't come up and speak about it, but are proud to live in the West Ward. You know, I tell people, we have a lot of things to go on and a lot of things to worry about, but the biggest thing is knowing your community. You know, like I said, I'm fortunate to come down to City Hall and talk to the mayor and talk to Sandy and talk, because it's needed. Some people feel, oh, well, you know, they're not going to do nothing. But if you sit home and not believe that, it does, because the mayor tell you, we come to challenges. There's times when I'll call down and say, hey, well, you can't do this. And I'll call someone else, it's done. Dave Hopkins. Public Works is great. Recreation, all the stuff the city has that the people in the West Ward don't really believe in, it's there. But what I want to say is I'm honored because I was a little kid that came from an alleyway. High school education, little street smarts, little college book smarts. But I still believe in every day. The more you get up and put your pants on and work hard, the more people believe. Now, I have a lot of parties going on in the West Ward. We have one Saturday. Need some volunteers. It's our Christmas party. This is our 5th year Christmas party. We put a Christmas tree. This year is at the bottom of the steps on 8th and Northampton. People say, what do you put a Christmas tree up? Well, I just started this Christmas tree just because I said, well, we have the peace candle. Hey, but let's let people coming from outside on 22 coming down Northampton Street see our Christmas tree. So my friend Carol, Lynn Holden, every year I scramble up, and I got 2 more days, but everything's coming to works. The tree's going up tomorrow. So if you come down Northampton Street, we have a 15-foot Christmas tree that Dave Hopkins called me and said, Lance, where do you want the tree? This is what I mean about connections and working with people. Everyone says, oh, Easton's a bad place, the West Ward. It's not. It's about what you make of your community. Because I can tell you, if you come down 9th Street, 143, there's eyes all over, because we believe in our neighborhood. But I just want to thank you, and I'm really honored because, again, this is something that people said. And I missed a call to get it at the Peace Candle because I said to my wife, we should be downtown. Well, they left a message on my other phone, and I got it the next day. So I'm very honored, and I said, guys, I'm just happy we have a city and a city council that believes in the West Ward. People might not think the West Ward, you know, we have nothing, but we do. You know, every day we fight. Every day, you know, we've got over the, oh, well, the West Ward's bad to live in. So is Palmer, so is Forks, and I'm in law enforcement, so I see it every day. And I laugh at so many people say, we don't have that in Easton. You know, top murder rate right now is Palmer Township. Not to say that, but I'm joking, but I'm very honored, and I thank you, Mayor, again. So we're having a party. I just want to just thank all of you, because and you young kids out there, like he said, believe in yourself. I went to Easton High School. I got a award last year for this. I didn't think but I'm here because I know I'm a product of what it can be if you just put effort into it and believe in yourself. Somebody might not want you to do it, but there's other people that are going to benefit you off you doing it. Like I said, this week we have 175 kids we're giving toys to. Now, will they all show up? Probably not. But on the end of it is, at least we have kids out there that know, and not that they're needy, but it's just good to give a kid a gift and say, hey, listen, this is from someone that you didn't know, but we appreciate you living in our ward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lance. For all the young people, the high school students who are here, I know that you have to have this assignment done by January 6th, and this is our last meeting, so that's why we have so many. My friend who said he procrastinated, actually, you're a month before I would have been here. I would have been here January 2nd. I want to just let you all know that we're going to go right now into public comment. If there's anybody who wants like to speak to agenda items only, but at the end of the meeting, there will be time for comments on any topic. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. We have bill number 33, providing revenues and appropriating specific sums to be required with the city budget during the fiscal year of 2020, and we have bill number 34, fixing the tax rate for all city purposes for the year 2020.
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved in second in discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye. There are no reports to be received by council.
Excuse me, sir, we didn't do the action on the minutes at all.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I have it crossed off. Moved action on our November 26th minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Roll call.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for catching that, Mr. Hess. I appreciate it. There are no reports to be received by council. Reports to the committees. Finance Committee, Councilmember Brown.
Yes, Mayor, thank you very much. I have a resolution coming forth which is going to do the 2020 budget, salaries and wage, and also underneath that, I have Mark who's going to speak a little bit about the 2021 budget, and I just want to personally thank the mayor and the city of Easton for such a fabulous Sunday that we had last week. Well received. People are still buzzing about it. So, Mayor, I want to personally thank you for your help on that.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. It was a great day. Josiah Young, who is the star of Netflix Raising Dion, was in the circle. It was a really great day.
So, Mark, if you want to take it from there, I greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I left everyone a copy of the 2020 and /2021 budget. So as per the charter, the administration is supposed to propose basically a forecast for the second year budget. Obviously, the budget for next year was just approved, but some of the highlights in this budget on the revenue side include a 2% increase in real estate taxes. EIT, both resident and non-resident, are at keeping with the run rate of about 3%. Our water system rents, which are contractually bound, are increasing by the 2% typical. Casino revenue, given the change of hands with formerly, now to Wind Creek, we are hedging our bets and pulling that revenue down by about $100,000. And then basically for all the other revenues, they more or less stay the same versus what we had for 2020. On the expense side, again, only a handful of real changes over this year. AFSCME is the only group bargaining unit that has a contract still in place through 2021. They have a 3% increase budgeted. Fire and police, their contracts are up at the end of 2020, so we don't have a number for them at this time. So for those groups, as well as for the non-union groups, we are not including any budget increases. I'm sorry, any salary wage increases. Another large difference between the 2020 and 2021 proposed budget is the debt service on the 4th Street garage. So we are assuming a $14 million garage going up on 4th Street with the 2 RACP grants, as well as the $1 million for the sale of the Boyd Theater lot. We're bringing that down to $11 million and anticipating a annual payment of about $640,000. So if there are no additional questions, yes, Mr.
One
Brown.
question. In reference to the revenue coming in from the casino, have they been in contact with us, or have we been in contact with them to see where they stand?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No, we have not.
We might want to do a friendly reach out.
Okay, we can do that. So, unless there are other questions, in conclusion, the gap year for revenue versus expenses is $540,000, as is typical. The administration works to whittle that down over the course of the year, and then as we sit here next year at this time, we hope to have that balanced budget. I would also like to note that the $541,000 has in prior years been close to $2 million. So the gap is smaller than it has been in the past.
That's great news.
And given the projects that have been announced, we could see significant increases in real estate revenue for 2021. Some of the projects will be coming online in 2021, and the county has been assessing partial during construction. So if they start construction in 20 and they're 50% completed in 21, they're going to get 50% assessed value, and then at the end of 21, they'll be 100%. So thank you, Mr. Lisinecki. Any other questions for him, Mr. Brown?
No, I don't. Anybody else? Good.
Economic Development Committee, Councilmember Volcano.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening I have a resolution for a subcontract agreement with Bright Fields, Inc. And also I just want to say that the Committee 185 continues to meet. We are interviewing developers, and we'll probably not have a decision, but at least come to a consensus in a very near future, probably in January. as to where they're going to go with the property 185 South 3rd Street, which is as we all know, was the Da Vinci lot. I'd just like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, I'll see you in the new year. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody, since we will not be meeting until January 2nd, I believe it is. So thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure working with everybody this year.
Thank you. And the Brightfields, when we get to that on the agenda, it is about the Stewart Silk Mill on South Side, which has been a brownfield for a long time. Both John Lucius, almost said your dad, but John Lucius and John Kingsley are here to answer any questions you might have. As you do know, the city will be accepting the transfer of ownership and then putting it back to the developer after the cleanup is done. So that's a huge project for the South Side. Planning and Coach Committee, Councilmember O'Connell.
Excuse me, Mayor, I don't have any report, but I would like to say that Paul Felder and Tom Jones and other community activists have been meeting in West Ward and College Hill regarding the establishment of conservation districts, and they're still ironing out what should and what should not be part of that. And hopefully, might have within the next 6 months proposals to go before planning and ultimately city council for approval. It would appear that the South Side does not have an interest in doing this, but that is the status of it so far. That they're working on language right now, and they're working on what would become part of these ordinances for the conservation districts. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Milan, Public Safety.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Public Works, Dr. Ruggles.
I have no report.
Administration, Councilman Ettinger.
I have no report. I do, however, I will be moving several resolutions, but I'm also going to be introducing this ordinance that I know it came upon us pretty quick. So if anybody has any questions, we could take questions at this time. Are there any questions?
You talking about Bill 37?
Bill 37. You should all have a copy.
Summary of that is assisting the contractor across the street, letting him store his steel beams, which will be delivered next week for the building, Heritage Lanes, the old Heritage Building, Mohawk Contracting and Development LLC. So I know Mr. Shear and Mr. Murphy have reviewed it. If there's any questions, we can take them now during his committee report.
How long are they going to be there? Are they going to go up quick? Or?
Mr. Campos, you want to?
Well, the lease
Your microphone, please, sir.
February 28th.
through the end of February. That's the time that they need.
That's what it says in the thing.
Yep.
The actual construction, is that going to impact traffic flow at any point, or?
From what the contractor told me, and this was as of last week, so they're constantly changing their logistics. But I believe they received permission from the property owner next door to utilize their ramp to pick the steel and move it onto to set it onto the site. But that's as much detail as I have, and that's constantly changing.
But I mean, they're going to have to move it across.
Oh, so they are going to have to move it. But in terms of, I guess there will be some disruption when you have to cross the street, correct? But I don't think the staging of the crane will be on 3rd Street. I do not think so,
As
at
it
least
was
right
with
now.
this building, with this garage.
Right,
It was on 3rd Street.
right. So, but I do not know, but I'll talk with the contractor. There's some things that we have to tighten up yet logistically, and I can certainly notify council, and we'll do our, we'll do what we can in order to communicate to the public regarding any disruptions on 3rd Street through social media or any other outlet that we have.
Good.
Yep. And then the last thing I do want to say, the charter requires for any leases to go before council as an ordinance. And in this particular case, the reason why we have to bring it to council is because we have, not only because it's a lease and it's spelled out, but that is really a prelude to the consideration. We are charging, while it is a small amount, charging the contractor to stage the steel on our site. There is another agreement, if you will. It's a unilateral agreement, and perhaps Joel could elaborate a little bit more, but that pretty much acknowledges on behalf of the contractor that they will meet all the prerequisite requirements that are in the lease, minus the consideration. So it's a disclosure in that they would hold the city harmless, and they would provide for any of the other necessary items in order to make sure that the parking lot over there is maintained the way it currently is.
Yeah, it's the obvious thing when I got to see the lease being introduced tonight as an ordinance is that, as you know, it's introduced tonight. It's not adopted until January, and it doesn't become effective for 30 days. A little bit of a practical problem if the steel's coming there next week. So we prepared a drafted, which they signed, a sheet in which they unilaterally agree to be bound by the terms of the lease. And the key thing there is, and the consideration is that they're going to be using it. So there's fair consideration. And it acknowledges our procedure that we would not become a party until the end, but they're obviously getting permission to move in. And the key part is that the indemnification provisions should be, is that everything in the lease is incorporated by reference, and it's a binding document because they're getting something for it. So it's going to go on top of the lease, and then if you adopt it and in January and it becomes effective, then the city signs the lease.
Thank you, and it doesn't give me any pleasure at all to introduce Mr. Murphy for his final solicitor's report as he begins his retirement at the end of this month.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of Attorney Sher and myself, I'd like to report that council did meet in executive session prior to this public meeting, and there was a discussion of personnel matters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And thank
you.
you for service to the city since 1988, but we'll deal with that a little later as well. I do want to mention, follow up on the 185 committee. It's been a pleasure to sit in on those meetings. I know Sandra and I have talked about it, as well as Lewis and Dr. Ruggles and Mark, to see the interaction of the community members, and John was there. It's really interesting to see their perspective on things, and it's really nice to have them there. I will give you a state of Pennsylvania update. The 5G small antenna bill, which has been opposed by all cities and municipalities, including the Pennsylvania Municipal League, looks like it's going to come out of committee in January. The zoning preemption, which we oppose, is still in the bill, but the price, and I forgot to tell Frank today, but the price of the poles has gone up to like $220 in the bill. Looks like we're going to try to get it to $270 because that's what the FCC allows. We have one provider who's offering us $20 a pole per year. So $270 is a lot different. But again, we're not against 5G. We want to see technology advance, but we don't want to see our city littered with all these small antennas as well, the DAS antennas. Also, House Bill 2081, which is the pension reform bill, now actually has two. It's been introduced by a Republican representative, and we now have two Democratic representatives have co-sponsored it. So we're starting to finally see some bipartisan support for that bill, which right now is costing the city of Easton about $6 million a year in pension legacy costs. And I'm happy to report that the radar bill for local municipalities is finally out of the Transportation Committee and may be voted on after the first of the year. There's a lot of amendments already being proposed. The bill does not allow part-time officers or part-time departments that don't have coverage for more than 12 hours a day to use radar. It's something we supported, but it's all the little boroughs and towns that don't have them, or they use state police already. So we will have that hopefully next year.
Mayor, when you're done with your report,
Okay.
one more item I wanted to.
The last thing I just want to mention, I did mention about Jasa. He was it's just a thrill to see a young man of 8 years old who is not only on a television show every week with Netflix and did 9 episodes and has been on commercials and advertisements, but just a young man who wanted to give back to his community and come downtown and literally spend several hours leading the parade with the Big Easy Easton brass band, and then having his picture taken with every person there, and not just children, but also adults. It was very, very, very impressive. Yeah, Lewis was. It was very impressive. And these two little, the best one, these two little twin girls, 4 years old. They were just staring and staring, but they wouldn't come up on the stage. And so they did have their picture taken with him. And when at the end of the night, at the end of the day, I said to the father, I said, "Oh, how you doing?" He says, "They are mesmerized. They watch every episode at least 7 or 8 times, and they just can't believe that they actually see him here on stage." So appreciate that. And thank you, Ken, for setting that up.
Mayor, did you know that there was a couple that came down from Scranton, one came down from Mass?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Drove over down from Mass.
Yeah, he's well liked. Good kid. So move on to the agenda.
Mayor.
Oh, you had something else, Louis.
Just one item, is that we are gonna go live with our new website
Oh, that's
now.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So-
Friendly.
So we can still make change, it doesn't mean that we can't make changes, because now we're in control of it. And certainly we can bring those up. And it's gonna continue to evolve, especially the Discover Easton piece. But nevertheless, I just wanna let you know that we're gonna go live probably within the next several business days.
For me to get around easy, it's easy. It's good. You know my limitations with the computer, but I loved it.
And did you check in with the solicitor on
I
that?
was going in all the different boxes.
There's no correspondence, no unfinished business, new business, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, first of all, in the new business, bill number 36 was withdrawn. Bill number 37, which is being introduced by James Ettinger, approving a lease agreement between the City of Easton and Mohawk Construction and Development.
So introduced.
Okay, we have a resolution being introduced by Kenneth Brown. Resolved that the Council of the City of Easton, Pennsylvania approves the following: salaries and wages to be paid to officers and employees during the year 2020 as outlined in Attachment A.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. Roll call.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Okay, we have another resolution being introduced by James Ettinger. Resolved that the council has reviewed and approves the non-union and management full-time employee benefits as attached hereto for the year 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. Roll call.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
We have we have a resolution being introduced by James Ettinger. Resolved that the Council of the City of Easton, Pennsylvania has reviewed and approves a 3-year master service agreement, January the 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2022, between the City of Easton and Broad Voice, copy attached hereto, for voice over IP phone services. Be it further resolved that council authorizes the city administrator to sign said agreement on behalf of the City of Easton.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. Go ahead, Dr. Ruggles.
I noticed in the costing on that, there were taxes included. Are we not exempt from those, or I just wasn't sure why we were being taxed.
Yeah, I'm not sure why either, so I will make sure that I can.
I mean, it wasn't a huge number, but
Right.
I mean,
Was it a tax or a fee?
no, it was tax. It
Oh.
said
Is it
taxes.
tax?
It said
No, but-
taxes.
So
yeah.
that's correct. We'll address it
Okay.
with the provider.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
We have another resolution being introduced by James Ettinger. Resolved that the Council of the City of Easton has reviewed and approves an agreement between the City of Easton and D&M Enterprise Group LLC, copy attached here too, for all of the city's telecommunications services for all the city's locations. Be it further resolved, the council authorizes the city administrator to sign said agreement on behalf of the City of Easton.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. Roll call.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
We have a resolution being introduced by Sandra Volcano, a resolution authorizing the filing of a formal application and business plan for the Redevelopment Assistance Capital RACP program for the Commodore Optima Durant Easton City project. Do you want me to read the whole thing, sir?
No, sir.
No.
That is a $3 million award that we got for the Commodore project at the corner of Northampton Street and Larry Holmes Drive.
Okay, be it resolved that the City of Easton, Northampton County, Pennsylvania hereby authorizes the following filing of the formal application and business plan for the $3 million RACP grant for the Commodore Optima Durant, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Easton does hereby designate Mayor Salvatore J. Panto Jr. as the official to execute all documents and agreements between the City of Easton and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to facilitate and assist in obtaining the aforementioned grant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. The,
They wanted more information.
just so you know, it's a reimbursement grant, so as Mr. Kingsley will tell you, the city will only pay invoices that are received and audited, and then we will apply to the state to get our money back. It is a reimbursement grant, just like all our other RCAPs that we received over the last 11 years. Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
We have a resolution being introduced by Sandra Volcano. Resolved that the Council of the City of Easton, Pennsylvania has reviewed and approves, subject to final review by the city solicitor and the city's environmental consultant, a contract between the City of Easton, Pennsylvania and Bright Fields Incorporated, copy attached here too, which incorporates all the bid specifications and documentations as required by the City of Easton, Pennsylvania under its request for bids as advertised on November the 20th, 2019 and November the 21st, 2019 for the purchase of remediation and demolition services in the amount of $1,443,480. Be it further resolved that council authorizes the mayor and the city controller to sign said contract on behalf of the city and the city clerk to test the same.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. I just want to say that this is a long time in
Yes.
coming. Those of us who have been working on this project for a long, long time, not all projects are easy. Certainly Silk wasn't, Pomeroy wasn't, but this one is really difficult for a lot of reasons, and just glad that Mr. Robinson was able to get Mr. Harrison involved, and just the demolition and cleanup of the site will be a drastic improvement for that wonderful neighborhood.
Absolutely.
But the project that's coming is an affordable, I got a new word today, attainable housing rather than affordable housing, because oftentimes affordable housing is looked upon as being low-income housing. This is not low-income housing. It's attainable housing for working people who may not have a lot of money to afford a house. So we're looking forward to that. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
It wasn't
I'm sorry,
seconded.
Dr. Ruggles.
Do you want to mention anything about the potential meeting, or?
Excuse me, sir, you have to come to the podium.
John Kingsley, 123 South 3rd Street. At Dr. Ruggles' suggestion earlier this afternoon, as he was kind of reviewing a number of the documents, he encouraged us to start working towards having a community, meeting with the developer to hear the current status of the project and its, process going forward. So we have reached out to the developer. They have agreed to do this. We're working on a tentative date. It is January 9th. We do not yet have a location, but we're hoping perhaps
At the
Cheston
school,
can
yeah.
host The gathering, we are anticipating it will start somewhere between 6 and 7 o'clock, kind of confirming still some attendance of the development team. We believe they will all be assembled there. I'm also trying to encourage the developer of the yards to also be in attendance and be
That would be
part
great,
of that
because
program.
that
So
project has stopped.
these are transformative projects, to say the least, for the South Side.
They've taken out all the windows and they've done all the demolition,
Yeah, and there's
and
not
their
much
hail rental trailers on site, but they, in the last 3 weeks, have not seen any momentum. So they may be waiting for something to be, I don't know, just like across the street. You know, you had a lot of subsurface work done. Unless you were on City Hall, it looked like nothing was being done there. But Amada Brothers has been on site for about 4 weeks doing nothing but structural work for concrete to accept the steel in 2 weeks. So that, I think, is a great idea to Dr. Ruggles. I think, you know, we had one many years ago. This project has been going on for a long time. But we first started, we had a project, we had a meeting, but that was a long time ago. And this is a great neighborhood. It's a good, solid neighborhood on the south side. This will be a great project for that.
Is there any special way we can get that out to the people?
We'll put it out and we'll actually send letters to like a 3-block area.
Okay.
And we'll put it out on social media, and
Put it out, maybe
hopefully
on
the papers will pick it up.
our website too.
It'll be on our new website, but Southside Civic will be promoting it. Depending on where we have it, we can give the school district may allow us to put a flyer in everybody's backpack. We can
Yeah, we'll look at
get the word out.
ways to get the word out and make sure we have a good attendance for it.
But it's a huge grant. I mean, the grant is how much? 1 point?
The ISRP grant, the one that we're actually taking title of the property to actually administer, is going to be $1 million. It started off around $750,000. It's actually being increased due to the cost of the project. They've come in much higher than initially anticipated, but we also have a $2 million RACP that we have scheduled for the project as well.
Right. Yeah, I'm just talking about the cleanup.
The total cleanup is going to be around $1,450,000.
And just so everybody knows, you were saying that the start of this is going to occur.
This is going to start in January. Yeah, the demolition of the property is going to begin in January.
Anything else, Mr. Kingsley? Thank you, Mr. Kingsley.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? There was a second, Mr. Clerk.
Who's second?
It was Mr. Brown and
Brown.
Mrs. Volcano.
Thank you.
And so we'll have if there are any other questions, we'll have a roll call.
Mr. Ettinger.
Aye.
Mr. Milan.
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell.
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles.
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano.
Aye.
Mayor Panta.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Okay, we have a resolution being introduced by James Ettinger, resolved by the Council of the City of Easton that Joel M. Shear, Esquire, 940 West Lafayette Street, is hereby appointed to the position of City Solicitor effective January the 4th, 2020, at an annual salary of $85,854.62.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Can I say something?
It's really a lot of money, Mayor.
I know who's
I
paying-
just want
know
to
who's-
say I am just thrilled that you're moving up. I was very happy to bring you on when I was council president as vice chair, or as president and council at that time, as second solicitor or part-time solicitor. So I'm very happy that you're moving up, Joel, and good luck to you. I know you'll serve us well.
Well, thank you. That was a fateful meeting we had out in Palmer Township
Yeah.
when you and your husband
Convinced
convinced
you
me
to apply.
that I should apply, even though I thought there was no way in the world I had the time to do it. So it has been a very good 17-year run under Mr. Murphy's tutelage. So I appreciate the confidence of the motion, not taking anything for granted, because I notice it's not on the consent agenda.
You took notice of that, huh?
Well, you've had enough. You've had enough
I-
experience now. You've been here 17 years.
I too I'm thrilled, but I do want to amend that to say that as part of it that we have a part of Murphy's Law included in that, because we're sorely going to miss Mr. Murphy. I know I am. I miss joking when I just love making him laugh. So, Joe, congratulations, and Mr. Murphy, we know you're just a call away.
Yeah.
He may not pick up.
That's it.
He'll be at 12.
Time to change your number.
Dr. Ruggles? Dr. Ruggles?
Yeah, I just hope that the position shift doesn't impact your basketball time at any point, right? So,
I hope people on staff have learned by now that you don't schedule meetings between 11:45 and 1:30. But I will try, especially if you come back.
well, I'm hoping next semester because
I'm tired of this 35-year spread in age between me and the guy I have to cover.
and ours is only 35 days.
I almost have a decade on you.
Anyone else on this side? Mr. Ettinger, starting your end.
Just congratulations. Be nice having you on.
Thank you. I'm figuring there's going to be a 0-7 vote after this.
Maybe not.
Murph, enjoy your retirement. Congratulations, Joel.
What if I vote no?
You'll be blackballed now.
6-1.
That's it.
It's par for the course.
Wow.
Whoa.
He was actually
No, with that, then-
speechless there for a second.
So, what I'll do then, I'll make an amendment to the resolution to keep your responses to less than 140 characters then.
I don't believe in tweeting.
What's that?
I don't believe in tweeting.
It's all right. Your email responses, no tweets.
The email, I would be happy with 140 characters in his emails.
So,
Joel, you know that Bill and I have been best friends since he arrived in Easton, and you have become a really good friend as well. I'm very delighted to be able to support this. I think you've done a great job in my 12 years here. I've been here 12 of your 17. I'm just looking forward to a really good 4-year term for myself and for you. So, and I'm sure we'll get along great because we have for the last 12 years.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I guess it's time for a roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Milan,
Drum roll.
aye.
Mr. O'Connell,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano,
Aye.
Mayor Panto,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger.
Aye.
I had you, didn't I? A
Okay,
little nervous? Possibly?
we have a
Yeah.
resolution being.
I already told Mr. Campos that Mr. Murphy is my lead, and I should be retiring January 5th.
We can amend the resolution if you want.
No, hire me January 4th. I retired January 5th. That's
Oh, I know who's paying for
Hey.
coffee.
We have a resolution being introduced by Salvatore J. Panto Jr., resolved in accordance with Section 2.11, Procedures, subsection B of the City of Easton Home Rule Charter. Council hereby cancels the December 25th, 2019 council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second discussion.
Just want to make one slight amendment. You have 2020 on the actual.
Oh, that's
Yes, it was changed.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. O'Connell,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano,
Aye.
Mayor Panto,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger,
Aye.
Mr. Milan.
Aye.
At this time, we have public comment on any item, concern, or question you may have from the city of Easton, about the city of Easton. If you come up, please give your name and address before you ask a question or make a comment. Anyone like to do that? James.
Stand up.
Yeah, James Herb, 428 West Berwick Street. I'm glad I came to this meeting because I didn't know you were going to be talking about this silk mill. That's my neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
That's
Right behind
my
you.
neighborhood. It's right behind me.
Yep.
And nobody knew anything about this, right? Don't worry, I'll let my neighbors know about it because I'm retired. That's all I do is talk to my neighbors.
That's good.
But I want to know, how long is this going to take for you to clean this property up?
Excuse me, microphone, please.
Because we're on live stream. Name and address, please.
John Kingsley, 123 South 3rd Street. The remediation project itself is going to take about 3 to 4
Excuse me,
months.
sir. Into the microphone so they can hear it on the live stream.
The remediation project is going to take approximately 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
And construction will start immediately thereafter.
Yeah,
Well,
within
about June.
6 days, probably.
All right, is there asbestos in there?
Yes.
Okay, what hours are you going to be doing this?
I do not know the exact operating hours that the contractors are going to be out there, but I would assume it's going to be a normal contracting day. It'll be, an 8 a.m. till like 4 p.m. kind of work.
Kids out.
Because the thing is, I don't like that idea because of kids getting in and out of school.
I know that they are taking special precautions to manage the asbestos-containing materials, so there are discussion points around how to control the movement of the material via air and otherwise.
Because kids in that area walk to school.
Understood.
So you're talking about, they start at 9 o'clock, they walk anywhere from 8:15 to 9 o'clock in that area. All right, same way going home. They get out at 3:30. So this is really not to close your time limit down.
Jimmy, can you come closer to the microphone, please?
This is where it's really not to get close to clean this area without that asbestos going in the air when we got kids walking home from school.
Understood.
They actually have to contain it.
They're going to-
I had asbestos removed from my house, and they do I forget what the kind of vacuum it's called. It's a zero vacuum or something where it takes it right into the filtrated system, so it doesn't it's not airborne.
It's not a,
Well,
It's not airborne at all.
I'm pretty sure some will.
Well,
I'm pretty sure some will.
yeah, and they also
They
seal it.
They have
yeah.
to seal it,
Yeah,
and
no,
then they have to
it's-
run positive air
Thank
so
you,
that,
Mr.
so that,
Henninger.
so that
Positive.
none of the
Not
particles
airborne.
escape.
Bubbles not to go away.
It's
Because
it's commonly done.
the other building the mayor was talking about, the General Airline building, they were working on that yesterday.
Oh, they were?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was watching.
Oh, wow.
Good, thank you. I know it's right behind your house.
They were putting blocks inside and starting to build the walls back up.
Okay, great.
I don't know if it's just a front, or what, right? But I see those guys and I talk to them.
Great, thanks,
Well,
Jim.
you can be our update.
Take it.
Oh, yeah, I keep an eye on everything.
If you'd like to get into the details on exactly
Yeah.
how they're gonna, I can put you in touch with the developer and we can.
Excuse me.
have Conversations about how that's all gonna be handled. So what I was offering, to gentlemen is that we would have the contractor, discuss with them their intentions in terms of how to
Sure.
manage the
Absolutely.
asbestos-containing materials.
and that's one of the purposes of that community meeting too, is to,
Tell them it's going
answer questions that people have. How are you doing this and things like that, and to give a timeline of what the progress would be.
Well, see, another thing I wanted to know if they're saying a couple months, because we don't know when Cheston School's gonna be tore down. That got
No, we don't.
asbestos in it at the same time. Do we have two projects going at the same time here?
Doubt it.
No,
No, I doubt
no,
it.
Cheston will not be done till probably summertime
Okay.
or later,
Or later.
because the new building is not ready for occupancy.
Now the smokestack, is that coming
Right,
down?
it's-
It is,
schedule out.
the smokestack is not coming down, it
That's-
is actually staying up.
That's gonna be like a symbol?
It's actually the subject of locations for cellular
Yeah, I know.
receptors, so it has to stay up during the term of those contracts.
Okay, so who's gonna maintain that?
That's all, we had a structural analysis done when they went to put the zoning required it when they went to put the last cell tower on. So we do have a structural analysis that it's structurally fit structurally sound to stay.
Yeah, I know, every time they work on that, we have a fire.
We know.
We just had one the last time they worked on it.
Yes, we did.
Because I saw it. 'Cause I'm there. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I only got one more thing.
Okay.
You gotta enlighten me here. This thing over here, this parking lot, whatever you wanna call it.
One 85.
What's going on there?
That Mrs. Volcano, when she talked about the 185 committee, we established a committee. We asked for volunteers from the community to be on that committee to review developer proposals. We received 4 developer proposals. They're in the process of interviewing those developers right now, and they will make a decision, which is either recommending one of the 4 or starting the process over. If they can't come to an agreement on one of the 4, they will offer to the city council that we start the process over. So sometime in January, I would think you would have it won't be, it's not tonight, so it has to be in January. You will have a recommendation coming before city council from the 185 committee on what they will. At that point, it becomes a public record. We'll have public meetings. We will not vote on it the same night. We'll vote on it probably over the course of 2 or 3 meetings so that the public has enough time to give it input. But the members on there, like Rini Sortino's on it, Rini Mowad, Patty Mowad Berger. We have bankers, we have realtors, we have lay people. It's been a good community. It's been a good group. They've been really diligent in their research, and they've asked the developers over the last 2 meetings some really good questions.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that, if nothing materializes, and that's just gonna sit there.
No,
No,
that
no,
is
no,
not
no.
going to happen. I can
Yeah.
assure you that within 12 months, you'll see construction on that site.
I was just gonna throw this at you because, I talk to people. Back in the day, you talk about how nice the circle is and all that. All nice cities got an ice skating rink.
Oh, we have one.
We've been trying.
That'd be a perfect spot.
Well, our problem right now is that our problem is that the type of ice skating we used to have at Pioneer and Lower Hackett.
Right.
We don't have winters that are cold enough to do that anymore. We can't flood them because all it would be water. But we are looking at artificial ice skating rinks. We tried to get one last year in the wintertime, but it was very expensive. And so we're looking at it. We're always looking at it. But I'd love to have an ice skating rink.
Oh, yeah.
The JCs used to run the ice skating rink down at Lower Hackett. So we used to sell hot chocolate in the rail car.
Right.
Remember?
I just figure I'd throw that out there because.
And I used to, as a kid, we used to go to Pioneer tennis courts.
Oh, yeah.
And Nevin Park tennis courts.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else like to address City Council with a question or answer or comment, concern? We have a lot of young people. This is going to be your city, your community. It's your opportunity to ask a question.
Adjourn.
He's procrastinated. No, there he is. There's my buddy that procrastinated. Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah. This is my last meeting. I hope I don't get choked up.
You will.
We won't let you.
You will, because I am.
Give me a break.
It's all cry.
Your 5 minutes are up.
I want to say congratulations to Joel. He'll do an excellent job. After 32 years, it's been a wonderful relationship. When I first came to town, I joined the Easton area JCs. Pat Volcano was there. Somehow we commandeered Sal Panto to go into the Halloween parade, and I was the chairperson. We decided to begin the Halloween parade out at the high school at 25th Street. This was going to be the longest parade they ever had. I thought I had everything prepared really well, till Norfolk Southern came across by Scheibel's Bakery and split the parade in half.
Oh.
The brownies who were about to cross the railroad tracks stopped. So in effect, this was the first Halloween parade that had an intermission.
And half the people left.
Half the people left, and they had no idea what to do. But the JCs was a great organization.
Yes, it was.
We had 3 mayors from the JCs. Had Sal, had Phil, Mike McFadden. John Lucius is in the crowd tonight. John was in the Eastern area JCs with us. It's an organization that developed young people and put them in leadership positions, or at least you got to address people, because we would go around and talk to different organizations, different municipalities, and you were given, at least for that 5 minutes, a little bit of prominence, and so you could establish yourself and the causes and trying to help the area. And that's Community Spirit Days from the JC that began through that up at Hackett Park. And it was a great organization. It gave me a foothold in the area because I am not from the Easton area. My wife is. My wife was born and raised here. As an interesting note, her family fought in the Revolutionary War from the city of Easton, and her great-great-great-great-grandfather was on a British prisoner of war ship in New York Harbor on Christmas Eve, 1776, and died of scurvy. That I was very fortunate to have that type of relationship and entree into the community in the city of Easton. And people have been very friendly, very nice to me. Everyone here on City Council has been wonderful. Supportive. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Take your time.
Oh, boy. But thank you. Thank everybody who has sat on City Council, all the city administrators, everyone who I've had any relationship with. It's just been wonderful. And thank you for 32 great years.
You're welcome, Bill. You know what, Bill, when I was on, council president, I used to call you up and I used to ask you for advice. And I'd always say, you know what, Bill, I don't like the advice you're giving me. I think it should be something different, but I will respect it and I will adhere to it. So I always,
It's getting cold.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'll miss you too. Thank you.
I remember that parade well, and Bill said it was my first encounter with the JCs. Mike McFadden came into my store around 4:30 that afternoon. I had just gotten home from school, and he says, "Hey, you doing anything nice?" I said, "No, what's up?" He says, "Oh, I need some help out at the high school." And I went out, I met Bill, and we lined up the parade, and then the train came. So Bill has had to live with that since 1977, I think it was.
You're around there.
77 or 78. And we used to have our parades at night to show you young people how far we've come. And the band used to get pelted with eggs at night. So we had to move them to the daytime. And that says, okay, we'll take it out of Center City. We'll start at 25th Street and come down to 12th Street. And that didn't help either. So the next year, 1980 was the first year we went into the Phillipsburg Easton during the day parade. And today, the band is very, very well respected. Over 300 kids. I tell everybody about our Rover band. How many people? Anybody here in the Rover band? Oh, great!
Oh, goodness, great.
Rover marching
Great job.
band is phenomenal. We love it. So we'll have more to say about Mr. Murphy. He is coming for our January 2nd reorganizational meeting. So, we'll have a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Basile, you're here tonight too.
Wow.
We were gonna
Well-
cry for you too, huh, Tony?
As a controller,
going
I
that
tried
far.
to attend as much meeting as I could, but I'm not gonna cry, Bill. It was really my honor to serve the city since 2006 when I was appointed, and then I became, I ran and I became the controller in 2000. I won the election in 2007, and then that was the same time that Mr. Pinto and I took over. But, I'm not leaving the city, as I told Sal. I'm going to be up the hill. It was a good achievement for me that I served as city controller for 3 terms and a year and 2 months. And now it is my achievement that I did win the election to be the county controller. So this will be added to my resume. But I believe that I served the Easton taxpayers and my city with honor, integrity, experience, and results.
Absolutely.
So thank you all, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Tony? Hey, Tony?
Good luck, Tony.
Tony, I'll see you on the hill.
We'll have both of you back on January 2nd. Tony, you're going to be there as well, correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure both of you are there.
Thank you.
I'll see you on the hill, but not Capitol Hill.
Maybe we'll have a hot dog for you. Sir, how you been?
Good
Excuse me.
evening, Thomas L. Burkett.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Thomas what?
L. Burkett.
Spell it, please.
Burket.
Your address.
323 East Berwick.
Thank you.
So I have a question regarding the 2021 budget. You indicated a 2% increase in real estate tax. Is there an explanation why is that estimated?
That's not
Is that property
it's not a
tax?
2% increase in taxes. It's a 2% increase in the revenue that we
coming
get
in.
because the city's growing.
Okay.
So we have a lot of new development. We anticipate 2%. We've been earning, our real estate taxes have been going up as revenue every year, but without raising the millage.
Okay.
We have no intention of raising the millage in
You
2021.
hit me on my second part of it, asking if we're having all this development, why isn't that
That's
revenue?
exactly the reason why it's not going
so,
up.
Thank you. And then as pertaining to my fellow citizens' inquiry about the asbestos, I would ask why isn't more effort being made on 2 counts, a bigger span than 3-block radius to let constituents know. That stuff is very airborne. We know it's very carcinogen. All right. And second to that would be why the contractor isn't publishing exactly what he's going to do. Now, I know many people in the construction industry and zoning, building departments, they have the idea and the understanding of, well, they got to do it a certain way. But the general public doesn't know that. And I think that they should be educated that or the contractor should publish something saying, listen, this is how we're going to do it. This is the state requirements to do it. And that could be addressed at the public meeting that is going
Don't misunderstand my 3-block radius. What I was saying with them was an individual letter, but that doesn't mean we're going to put it out and post it and put it all over Facebook and social media on the website. We'll get it out and we'll put it in hopefully the newspapers. We'll probably take out an ad, the contractor, to do that. But unfortunately, the circulation of local newspapers is down, and there's many people that just don't read them anymore. Or they read the headlines and they don't read the ads. So we will get it out as best as we can, but especially that immediate area, we'll certainly let them know by direct mail.
I think the ultimate thing would be to ensure that the public is aware that it is opening community at this meeting, and that our representatives are instructing the builders and developers and all that this is a requirement. You have to let the surrounding area make aware of it. We shouldn't have to be asked for that information. It should just be offered.
Good point.
If you want to leave your name and your email address afterwards, maybe we could have our director of codes contact you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank
Yeah, and I want to thank the council and the mayor.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Burkett.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead. Come on up, young man. Oh, come on up. First, we'll take the young lady first, and then you, sir. Okay, that's great.
Laura Nielsen, 407 High Street. I'm just looking for some clarification on the assault that happened on Porter Street earlier. My daughter and I live around the corner, and we've heard two different stories. So we heard that there was an assault, and there was 3 Hispanic men in a Jeep of some sort. We have no idea how this woman is, if it was random, if this was targeted.
I can tell you that it was 1 Hispanic male and 1 black male who got out of a red Jeep that we do have on video.
Okay.
And the police department is following up on that. At the current time, I can only tell you that the female is saying she doesn't know the 2 people.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean it's not targeted or random. We don't know that at this time. If I could tell you, I would love to, because I'd love to tell you it's targeted and not random. The last thing we need is a random type act like that. But the police are working on that, and she is out of the hospital, so I know she's okay. But she was bleeding from the head. That's why we took her to the hospital.
Baseball bats? The high school called and also left a message saying they have baseball bats. So she was threatened with baseball bats? Is this?
She was threatened with she thinks it was something like a baseball bat.
Okay.
I can't say it was exactly a baseball bat.
Okay. So was there also another incident on the West Ward that was
No,
similar?
there was another incident with the same vehicle on Cattell Street. Yes.
How long ago?
Today.
Oh, it was 2
It was
today.
It was 2 today.
Okay.
And we have extra police officers on duty throughout the whole city. They're on high alert to look out for a red Jeep Cherokee. I've posted it on my website and on my Facebook as the type of vehicle. If anybody sees it, to call the police immediately. This is where we need the eyes and ears of the city.
Absolutely. Are there pictures of the assailants or the?
No.
They're not. Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Your name again, please.
Laura Nielsen,
Spell the last name.
like the ratings, Nielsen.
S-E-N. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, it's on everything. It's on Morning Call. It's on Lehigh Valley Live. It's on Facebook. It's on our website. Just so you know, the city of Easton has a Nixle alert system, and it did go out.
On that.
And go on our website and sign up for Nixle Alert. You will get all those types of police alerts. And we're getting ready to go over to a new system, which is called Rave. And the reason why we're looking at Rave is because, unfortunately, as much as we promote Nixle, people just aren't signing up for it. But it's a great project, a great program for you to sign up for. It's on your cell phone. It doesn't cost anything, and it just gives you an alert that may come, whether it's a snow emergency or an event like today. Young man, name and address.
Dajmer Daron, 7.
Your first name?
Dajmer Daron.
Spell it, please.
D-A-H.
D-A-H.
J-M-I-R.
J-M-I-R. Daron?
Yes.
Okay. And your address?
737 Center Street.
737 Center. Thank you.
The kids in high school don't know much about like what's going on in the community. And with all these houses being built, is there going to be more entertainment things brought into the public, or?
We're certainly hoping so. We try to attract as many new things as we can. Right now, we're looking for a new skate park where we could put a skate park. We're looking for, whether it be movie theaters or whatever, but we're trying. But right now, I would suggest sometime next year, since I have 4 years, I'm looking to start a youth council, very popular among the National League of Cities. And when I went to our summit this year in November, there were 350 young high school students who are on youth councils in their community. And it would be a great opportunity for them to take on some of these type of tasks.
Okay.
So,
And I think one of the things too that would be very helpful is for the students to voice what would be something that would be interesting for them to participate in. I mean, I could sit here and go, oh, well, we'll do this, and you guys are all like, meh.
Yeah.
But I mean, to get a good understanding of what would be something that would be very interesting to younger people, I think would be something that would be very helpful for us.
As the mayor said, like an artificial ice skating ring, that would be really awesome.
yeah. Dajmer, we would suggest that you come to more meetings or just email us. Everybody's email is on the website.
Yep.
You can email us with any ideas you may have, and that doesn't say it's going to happen right away, but it may be something we put on our calendar and put it on our radar for something we can do in near future.
Mayor, in terms of communication, we do have a Facebook page that just does promote a lot of things that are occurring in the city. But then to go to your point, though, too, and like what the mayor had mentioned and the council members attending these meetings, you can learn a lot. The city, the council just recently approved a budget that within the budget, without getting into a lot of details, is supporting the purchase of about 14 acres around the Carl Sterner Arch Trail. That's going to expand that. And there's a lot going on in that area, as well as throughout the city. There is a lot going on. Just
One
takes
of the
time.
one of the dilemmas, Dajmer, is your age group. What do you guys want? Because we've rebuilt every playground, but they're for the playground equipment's for little kids. We do the basketball courts, but nobody's playing basketball anymore, or outdoor basketball anyway. But it's your age group that when I say skateboard park, most of the people aren't riding skateboards anymore.
No.
There's a couple dozen in the whole city if we're lucky.
Yeah.
So we're trying to look to you, as Dr. Ruggles said. You should give us ideas, and there's plenty of students here tonight, and all of them are afraid to come up. So I give you credit for coming up and saying that.
Thank you.
There's no reason not to come up. Thank you.
Okay. Adjourn.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call.
Mr. Milan.
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell.
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles.
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano.
Aye.
Mayor Pence.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger.
Aye.
Man, all of a sudden, it got cold.
Thank you, gentlemen.